It's Ruben Lowing. It is Sunday afternoon. This is my leadership talk. I have been binge watching the Jim Rohn, um, the Richard Fain, and a whole bunch of Ronnie and Jay Guthert Jr. And I'm I'm trying to figure out, where to tap into. Well, here's what I saw. I did a faith-based business coaching challenge called Life on Fire Challenge, and it was kind of cool. They they got you talking about your why, and they dug deep. It's pretty strong. They call it, when was your life on fire moment? That thing that you did in your life that, when you think about it, usually you'll rise you stand taller. It just makes you feel good about yourself, right? So I talked about mine. Then they ask you, what was that? What was so significant about that? And for me, it was something that I had been thinking about and had been desire for like 3.5 years before it happened, and it was significant. It was the day that I became officially designated as a Navy SEAL. They pinned the trident on me. It was the same day I had my first fight with the All Navy boxing team in Little Creek, Virginia. So there's a whole bunch of Navy SEALs there. I hit the guy so hard, he flew across the ring in a sitting position and bounced across the ring. And when they raised my hand, all these Navy SEALs jumped in the ring and carried me out of the ring on their shoulders like in the movies. And then they ask you, what was so significant about that? And what it was is the things that materialized that day, that manifested that day, were exactly what I put in my mind, set in my mind 3.5 years prior, and it happened the same day. That was significant. And then I'm Toastmasters president for Hub City Toastmasters in Pharr, Texas. And I had to do officers training. So I did the officers training. There was a pastor gets on there, and he does this talk on finding your why. And he was saying, why did you join Toastmasters? I'm like, to become a better speaker. And the question was, why did you want to become a better speaker? Well, because I was being asked to do leadership talks for youth, and I was kind of cryptic. I was trying to work on articulating my message in a linear fashion so it was easier to understand. And then they said, well, why was that important to you? Well, because I want to talk to young people and let them know that they can achieve anything they set their mind on, and if they create that desire in their mind strong enough, all right, that the world will line up to make it happen for them. And then I started. They asked, I applied that to everything that I have done in my life, and I realized that throughout my life, I've been climbing ladders that were leaning up against the wrong building. And I'd get, okay, well, this isn't what I was in this, why I chose to do this. This isn't getting me where I want to go. Okay. And that's why I'm doing this business. And this business, which is very exciting, because there's nothing like it to develop people. There's nothing else like it at all, period. Okay? When you get people, starting off even, freeing up some cash and paying down some debt, right? So it's not such a burden to them. When you start getting their account start to grow and they start to see, right? They start to see that they're getting closer to their goals. Right? That's exciting. They get excited. They start holding their head up higher. Their confidence just goes through the roof. Okay, and it's like with me even, right? They had when I call Pacific Life because I have Pacific Life, um, and they'll tell you your accounts are growing. every every time I call them, they tell me how much how much my account how much my account is growing, you know, and so that's why I'm doing this, right? It's not just to make money, okay, but it's to develop people, and there's nothing else like it. There's nothing else, okay, and that's more exciting to me um, than just making money. I've literally gone out 4 appointments a day, 10 days in a row, and I only wrote business on 3 appointments, right? And it was 6 pieces of business: husband, wife, husband, wife, husband, wife. But my commission or my points were 66,000 points. So it's 10 days to get 66,000 points, and that was that's worth it. I'll do that all day, right? I'm trying to get my team, people that I've recruited, to engage, because I see. I'll tell you what happened Saturday. Bernadette started talking about the finding that need. Oh yeah, and seeing yourself having success and being achieving your goals, right? But it was more than that. It was way more than that. The and that's why, because I can't just like articulate everything that I'm getting from plugging into the training. And if you're doing this, you need to train. When I was in the SEAL teams and in the boxing gym, it was all about training, right? And most of it was visualization, right? Of how it was gonna go, right? Oh, I know what she was talking about. Getting a structured cycle of training. Okay, so like one day, talk about building the prospect list. Okay. The next day, how to actually, do the F&A. And Bernadette, she can just drill down. Because I always had a problem. I do the F&A, and then I go back to them and like, oh, you have this much money, this much left over, and they're like, oh, we don't see that. Well, they were spending more than they were telling me they were spending. I was just going down and asking the questions, and I wasn't drilling down like Bernadette does. Okay, she gets to actually see how much they're spending, and she also gets to see, get to really figure out where there's the spending, the unnecessary spending, right? The stuff that's keeping them from having enough to start saving, right? and she's a master at that. Then the next thing is, doing the illustrations, right? And getting in, and then also, fast starting them. All right, and part of fast starting is also, getting them a code number, right? Getting them started. So there's so there's the progression of the training, and I know, like, when I was in the SEAL teams, especially dive ops. I mean, everything, but dive ops I can explain easier. They call it dirt diving, and you and your swim buddy, they give you a target, so you got to swim you got to swim across the bay in Puerto Rico to the naval shipyard, and you got to put limpet mines on 2 ships, and then you got to go to a certain point in the middle of the bay, and to be picked up, and you better be right there. You're not gonna you have to swim home, right? But it's a 6,000 yard night swim, all right, underwater, and you have a course you have to swim. So you have to go so far to a certain point, and then you have to turn a right angle turn, left to right, and then you go a certain distance, and then you make a right angle turn, left to right, and then swim a certain distance, then you make another right angle turn, and you're going to either hit the ship or hit the screws. If you hit the screws, you're good to go, right? If you hit the middle of the ship, then you have to box out. You have to swim 3 minutes out, and then you swim 3 minutes down, and then you swim 3 minutes in, and you should be at the screws. If you hit the ship again, then you box back out again. But that's the process, okay? So you do it so many times because you can't pull out your cheat sheet and go, okay, what's the angle now? Some people try to do that. They'll carry like a plexiglass slate and they sand it, so then they'll write in pencil, they'll write their course on it, right? But most of the time, you just memorize it, okay? So you're doing that. I mean, if you're going to do that in boxing, same thing. I remember fighting this guy way above my head. He was like the top lightweight in Mississippi. And Roy Jones Sr. had me in the gym for a week just doing this one called a check hook. And it's designed to counter a right hand, right? Because this guy had a tell. He'd kind of pull back for the right hand. And so I spent the whole week just throwing that check hook, that counter punch. And when I got in the ring, it just worked like a charm, right? But you do things over and over and over and over and over again. You're training somebody. You teach. You tell them what you're gonna do. Then you show them what you want them to do. And then you walk them through it, right? What you want to do, and then you get them to practice it and practice it and practice it and practice it. Okay, and then you get them up the ring to do it for real, sparring, and that's how I'm used to training. So this whole plan of hers is just brilliant. Okay, but the other thing is these calls, like tonight is the good news call. All right, my whole team should be on this call. There's gonna be something put out that's gonna be phenomenal. I'm gonna see something like the other night. There was it was a Tuesday. There was this girl, Taylor, 22 years old, joined the company in January, got her license in March. All right, it's end of August now. It was middle of August when I saw her. Okay, so she's qualified green jacket. That's like $150,000 a year cash flow minimum. Okay, and then she's about to make CEO, which is minimum like $500,000 a year. She's got 3 people on her team that are about to hit $500,000, hit CEO, and she's got 8 of them that are about to get their green jacket. Okay, and what they're doing is she created this Zoom culture. This starts off where they do a workout in the morning. Somebody does a calisthenic workout one day, then somebody's doing yoga one day, and somebody's doing like a boxercise. I don't know what they're doing, but they're doing a workout on Zoom in the morning, right? And then they get going with the workshops and the trainings, right? The builders call on Tuesday and the Titan call Wednesday night. I mean, they create this culture around Zoom, and that's what they did, and that's the system. See, the system can fill in the gap in training that so I don't have to I can be out there trying to find more business while my team is getting trained by the experts, the guys that people that have done it. Okay, where if you don't do that, then you leave it up to it's up to your leadership to train you, and then you're taking away from their time building their business. All right, and that's why. And then now with the Zoom, it's so much better than it was having two meetings twice a week, right? And so that is the magic of our system. And what you do is you just keep plugging in. You're building a new subconscious, this information, right? And when you know it, and you can get confident, all right. And when you're confident, and people come at you and they say, and they say things out of fear. They ask you these. They try to stump you, right? They try to, justify their reasoning for not coming on board with you. One of the ones right now down here I'm having a challenge with is, I don't like Zoom, and that's not uncommon. There's a bunch of teachers I know and faith leaders I know. They just don't want to get on the video to do. My boss is like a PhD. He's a dean of a university, but he's doing it. I talked to him yesterday, and he did I set him up with a warehouse, and he did their audit via Zoom. Tickled me to death, right? So people are coming around, but there's a little resistance there. But there's a lot of resistance there. But so you just work around. You just go, hey, I gotta mail this guy. He's a referral from one of my new associates. Oh yeah, this guy. He's the only one to get up and do a 5:30 a.m. workout with me, right? He did it Friday, and we're gonna do it again. My Navy SEAL stretch PT, and we're gonna do it again on Monday. So I do it Fridays and Mondays, right? But he's it's a start, right? It's a start, all right. Getting him engaged, and that's what it takes. And he's one of the ones that he's been getting me his 3 a.m.ers. He's been throwing people at me, and he's starting to make a list. Right, I got somebody else that's made a list, but we haven't got a hold of him. He is, making time for me to get him fast started, but he already did his list on his own. Okay, so, it's being patient. It's getting people to jump canoes in midstream is hard. Okay, and it takes a little bit of a setup, and they got to get going. They got things that they've been working on, right? That they got to get off their plate, right? Now sometimes that can be an excuse because they'll go find something else to make as a priority, right? And you're like, oh come on, But it's that fear of the unknown. They've never, but what's crazy is this way of doing it is so much easier than anything you've ever done before. It's phenomenal. And then I talked to a business consultant. He didn't know what I did. So I asked him, first thing I asked him, so what do you think that I do? And he thought I was another business consultant. I'm like, well, no, but we have a lot of tools that if you're a business consultant, this can help you. And sure enough, at the end of the 7-step, he wants to do this. I got to follow up with him on Wednesday. And he sees that there's a lot of, resources he could use for his business consulting. Okay, what he's going to find out is with this will eclipse his income doing that, but that's okay. You know, it's yin or yang. All right, I hope this helps, right? I hope that my team that's listening to this, starts to understand that, there's a system that's already been thought through and is proven, all right, and they just have to engage. All right, have a great one. Ruben Lawing.